Hey everybody, this is Frankie Slauson, and welcome to the Frankie Slauson Show. This is a special New Year's Eve weekend show. Now that we're done with the holidays, or almost done with the holidays, the Christmas time came and went really quick. And the next guest I have is my 20th guest on my show for this year, anyway, that I've done for interviews. This guy, I don't know if I'm not sure if you're too familiar with his work, but I remember back when I was on the radio, I listened to a show called the SHOWBIZ Scene, and he was the host of it. It was like a minute and a half little piece on like what's going on in the entertainment world. And since I like to do interviews with people that do stuff with entertainment, I figured this guy would be perfect to have on. His name is Jared Uwe, and hello, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey Frankie, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good, and I'm just going to correct you. It's Iwi.
Iwi, okay.
Yeah, I mean, not that that's any sexier, but that's what it is. At least according to my ancestors.
Okay. See, I always kept calling you Uwi. I don't know why. Maybe just because it just sounds like that. I don't know.
No one knows. As a matter of fact, I was doing comedy once, and this lady came up and said, "You know, your last name isn't Iwi, it's Avi."
Avi?
Like, with a V? Yeah, Avi. I realized I didn't know this, and she's actually, she's an Avi, and this is crazy, we're Mennonites.
Oh, wow.
Like Amish? Yeah, so she's still Mennonite, and she's like, the actual Mennonite Iwis are Avies, and I found out that my family used to be Mennonites too, but apparently, I guess it was my great-uncle, he was a real jerk Mennonite preacher, so my branch of the family took off, and apparently somewhere in there decided Iwi was more appealing, although it is difficult to get through elementary school with that name.
I would say so, wow. Well,
yeah, it toughens you up.
I suppose that's surprising to find out that you were part Amish, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it was weird. I'm glad that, I mean, I like TV and toasters and stuff, so I'm glad that somebody made that decision.
Yeah, I mean, and I think nowadays, are they kind of changing the way the Amish live a little bit, or are there still some Amish that still kind of live the old-fashioned way?
Yeah, I think there's some changes, but I think I can't. I'm not an expert on the situation, but it's funny you ask because I was just reading about like there's that Amish week that Amish kids get. I can't remember the name of it. It's like Mungan Fritz, or I don't know what it's called, but like they get to spend a week during their adolescence where they get to go out into the world and use TVs and electric razors and stand in the awe of stoplights. And I guess they're losing more and more kids to that. Like, they go out, and then they're like, yeah, whatever, I really love, YouTube and porn. So they just don't go back.
Wow. That's, as far as I know, with the Amish thing, I'm more familiar with it with the movie For Richer or Poorer with Tim Allen and Kirstie Alley. You remember that movie at all?
I didn't see that one. I always remember Harrison Ford in Witness.
Okay, yeah.
That was like a big that's funny. I was kind of worried about offending the Amish. But they're not watching this.
No.
So never mind. No, I don't want to.
Yeah, and the thing is like I don't, like my fan base. I mean, I'm not like Howard Stern or anything like that. I don't get like billion subscribers, but I got a few anyway, and it's just a small little. I mean, I'm not anybody big or famous, so I'm just somebody that's just doing this from my house. And in fact, I'll be real honest with you, I'm doing this from my parents' house and through my internet connection and through Skype and just through the love of entertainment, because like I mentioned before, I used to be a former DJ, as most of my subscribers know, for a radio station called Pioneer 9.1, which was a college radio station. And when I volunteered, after I went to the course, I volunteered for about 5 years. And I got to do my own show and everything like that. And it was a friend of mine who got me interested in starting to do interviews with people that I never thought I'd ever be able to talk to. And I've talked to some big famous names.
Yeah. Well, pretty much everybody in radio is volunteering, so you really didn't miss out on much.
Now, have you had any radio experience at all?
Yeah, that's really most of my background. When I was in college, I got hired at this little oldies station in Durango, Colorado, and then right when I got out of college, I did a morning show on a classic rock station for a couple of years, and then I thought I was a big shot, so I moved to Portland, Oregon, where I found I am not a big shot, and I ended up working on a couple talk radio stations there that were really at the bottom of the barrel, like for radio. One, I co-hosted and produced a professional wrestling talk show, and then another one I produced a show called The Affection Connection, which was kind of a hookup radio show where we tried to lure people to call a 1-900 number to find their next hot date. It was kind of like eHarmony before eHarmony. And then, so then I came back to Colorado, where I worked in Colorado Springs and had some success there, and then got hired into Denver.
Oh, okay. Yeah, are you from Colorado then, originally?
Yeah, I am from, well, you're in northern Minnesota. Yep. I am from our equivalent of northern Minnesota, a little town called Walden, Colorado, which is really cold and barren, and not a lot of people go there unless, of course, they're lost.
How far is that from, like, the Columbine, like where they had that shooting a long time ago?
Well, I'm talking to you right now. I'm in Cherry Creek, which is part of Denver that's really close. I mean, that's close to Columbine is probably 15 minutes.
Oh,
but
okay.
I grew up about 4 hours from that area, or 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. See, I've never been to Colorado. I've always thought it'd be kind of fun to take a trip over there because it looks like a beautiful state, compared to Minnesota, because you got all those mountains and stuff,
Yeah, I know. I had an offer to move to Minneapolis once, and a guy told me not to do it because it was so flat and hot in the summer and cold in the winter, so I kind of freaked out. I mean, I visited and I liked it, but I have heard complaints from Minnesotans that if you don't have to live there, then maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, well, see, I grew up in Minnesota, basically. I was born in Moorhead and pretty much raised in a small little town called Greenbush, Minnesota, which is, back when I first got here, it was like at least almost over 800 people. Now that dropped from like maybe 400 people. We got, I don't know, I'm probably guessing wrong, but I'm pretty sure we got less than 300 people or so that live here now.
Wow.
But yeah.
Is that something you did?
No. It just something. It just I just grew up here in just a small little town where there ain't nothing really to do. It's like a farmer town, more or less.
Huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what Walton is.
Okay. How many people, or what's your population?
About 500.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the commencement speech for the graduating class last year of 9 kids, and I just told them, like, it was really quite a benefit because they could always tell people they graduated in the top 10 of their class.
Oh yeah.
Are you being attacked by dogs?
Oh, my microphone. It's so funny. My microphone that I have here can pick up so much sounds from it. You don't have to be close to the mic. You can hear pretty much. I mean, I could probably hear a squirrel fart outside, probably.
Yeah.
No, it's just my parents have. I'm staying with my parents currently right now, and they have dogs and stuff, and that we're just taking care of and stuff that are theirs, and sometimes they just like to bark for no reason, and then yeah.
Yeah. Only when you're trying to interview somebody.
Yeah, it's like it's so quiet. Yeah, it's so quiet when I'm not doing interviews, but then as soon as I start recording, the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, they probably are pissed off about what I was saying about the Amish. Their dogs are smarter than we give them credit.
Yeah. So now your biggest, as far as I know anyway. I mean, I don't. I'm learning about you, but I don't. The only thing that I really know that you've done that I was big to anyway was your show called the SHOWBIZ Scene, which like I told you before, I was a big fan of. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I was supposed to do this or not, but there's a couple times in my show on the radio where, well, at the station we have where we can record audio from the internet and stuff like that. So there was a couple times. Now I don't know if I'm going to get you in trouble or anything for doing this or myself in trouble, but I would actually use your clips as part of my show because I thought it was so interesting. So, is that wrong?
What the heck were you thinking?
Well, I liked it. I mean, I thought, well, here's a guy who sounds very professional, has a good voice, and obviously has a love for entertainment, and I could easily see you doing something like on Entertainment Today or Entertainment Tonight or whatever, doing some type of entertainment related show. And I thought this is pretty interesting, so I got to use this for my show. So I didn't use all your episodes, but I used probably about 5 or 6 at least.
No, you should. Yeah, I mean, no, that's great. That was the whole idea. I loved it. I did it for 3 years. Do you want me to talk about it for a little bit?
Yeah, go right ahead. Talk away.
Okay. No, I tell you, I tell people all the time, like, if they want to be in radio, there's the old-fashioned way where you go and you work for free for a few years, and then you get you get paid $5 an hour to be a midday jock in some small market. Yeah, and but what I did is I actually, the showbiz scene was kind of out of necessity, because I had to leave Cozy 101, the radio station, when I was working in Denver, and I just to take care of my mom, who had cancer. So she was at my house, and I couldn't work and be with her at the same time.
Sure.
So I built a studio in my house, and I just started doing this entertainment report for a couple Denver radio stations. And then from there, a guy heard it, and he said, I could get this online real easily, and people can just download it. And so I did it for free for about a year, and I was like, I can't do this for free anymore. I'm dying. And the stations really didn't want to pay for it. They just want free stuff.
Oh, of course.
And being in radio, I know this. Everything is like this strange prison system of barter that goes on in radio. And so I got a sponsor, and I just built the sponsor into the report. And so when anybody aired it, the sponsor got airtime too, and it really worked out well. But then the economy went to crap. I did it for 3 years, and I did it for newspaper and radio, and I was about to branch into TV, but then my sponsor freaked out because the economy was going to heck. And I'm just not much of a good sales guy. Like, I'm not one of those people that can just walk into a Wendy's and say, hey, I need $50,000 a year for this thing. I'm just bad at it. Like, I feel so bad. Like, I apologize for taking the time, and then to compensate, I end up buying something from them for which I have no money for because I have no sponsor. But so anyway, I tried to get some people to sell it for me, and it just wasn't flying. And I kind of, in retrospect, I really wish I would have kept it up, but I decided just to move on.
Well, you would have fooled the heck out of me, because it sounded like a very professional show. I mean, really. I mean, I was very impressed, and maybe I'm just a sucker for just hearing somebody and then liking what they do automatically. But I thought it was a pretty damn good show. I mean, I got entertained.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Frankie. I mean, it got picked up. It was on for a while. There was on over 100 stations all over the world, and then I had 12 newspapers pick it up too, and nobody really wanted to see it go. And I guess I was just in freak out mode. Like, I had what I'll call, and you might have to censor this, but I had what I'll call my oh shit moment in a dog park. I was out there, and I was throwing the ball for my dog, and I lived this kind of leisurely life where I'd wake up, I'd record the showbiz scene, I'd go to a movie, I'd write a review for a newspaper, and things were good, but I didn't have a sponsor for a while, so there was no money coming in, and I had a second kid on the way. So I had this moment where I was throwing the ball for my dog, and like midair, it just hit me. I was like, oh God, I'm broke. And by the time the ball hit the ground, I should give my dog Paco credit. By the time he caught the ball, he's got brilliant paw-eye coordination.
Oh, there you go.
By the time he caught it, my life was changed. I just had to do something. So I just, out of kind of a panic, I scrapped everything and actually worked for the government as a media specialist. So, which was a good experience, but it kind of took me out of the radio entertainment realm.
Yeah, it kind of. I was just shutting the door. It kind of. I'm just kind of surprised because you would have, like I said, you would have fooled the hell out of me, because it's like it's good to know the backstory as far as how this all kind of developed and stuff, and I mean, it's too bad that it couldn't have went like bigger, like you couldn't have sold it to like satellite radio or something like that.
And I think I could have, and that's just some stuff I didn't really think of. I'm not the most savvy business guy. I mean, I can talk a lot.
Yeah.
As you probably have witnessed firsthand, and I could think. I do a lot of comedy. I mean, I've got that kind of brain. But when it comes to like business savvy, there's like 8-year-olds out there that can run circles around me, and that's happened to me so many times where I'll quit something, and people will say, "Wow, you could have made a lot of money doing that." And I'm like, "Well, where the heck were you when I was doing it?" But I need a consultant, Frankie. So think about that as your future.
No, okay, I will. No, I mean, have you ever thought about bringing it back?
Yeah, well, I have some companies that have been kind of interested in sponsoring it, but they don't know. Like, I've talked to one, and they're not sure they want to go entertainment. They may want to go a tech route because technology and gadgetry is so big right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think it's just gonna. If I were to do it, it's just I have to start doing it again regularly and then demonstrate. Look at, I got Frankie in Minnesota. I've got Pete in New Zealand. I've got John in New York. These people all like it and they're airing it. And then they'll say, "Oh heck, we're all over it. We'll do it."
Oh sure. Well, I tell you what, it would be nice. I mean, or even if it's not something like that, I mean, maybe somebody will give you your own half-an-hour entertainment show on like your local. Were you like you're not a news anchor, but did you do like some reporting or whatever for like Colorado TV or something?
Yeah, well, I did a lot of radio news. I've done some TV news, and you're getting me all fired up here because, and that's a good thing because I miss that. I really want to do. I've kind of thought about. There's some radio opportunities here in Denver, but I've kind of thought about going to a whole new market, maybe a mid-sized market where I can do TV and radio and kind of build that again, and maybe have an entertainment piece. I've actually talked to 9 News here in Denver about doing some kind of entertainment thing, but it's all. It just takes an extra commitment that I need to grab hold of.
Well, that's just the thing, Hold on here. Just shut the door for my dog. Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. It's just like, it's funny that, how things kind of work. Like with me, and I'll tell you, I think that, even though I'm not making any money doing what I'm doing on YouTube or anything like that, I think I'm just as good as anybody that is popular. I don't know why I can't get no like 1,000, like maybe 40,000 subscribers or whatever, build like a big fan base because I got a lot of good stuff. Plus, I've been a part of YouTube since 2008, and I made over 500 videos and stuff. But yet, for some reason, I'm still stuck at like, what is it, 1,600 subscribers, which sounds like a lot. But really isn't. I mean, because maybe I only get on average 200 views or more. That's about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? I wish I lived in an area, maybe in a bigger city, where I could actually do radio or TV or something like what you're doing for a living instead of working where I'm working at. I work at a hotel right now, but that's not the dream job,
Well, the good thing about your position is one, your job probably doesn't steal from you creatively, so you can do your hotel gig and then you can come back to the house and you've got all kinds of juice to, it kind of forces you into doing something you really want to do, and the internet, I mean, it's such a two-edged sword. Like, there's such huge opportunity, and some people make it so big, but then for others, and I've been in that situation where it's frustrating because you're thinking, I'm doing all the right things here. Why is this not taking off?
Yeah.
But the thing, my point is you could do that, and you could do that in Denver, or you could do that in your little town. So, I mean, because the internet is fair game.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. I mean, it's all thanks to the social media and everything now. I mean, it's like, I don't think anybody ever thought that we'd have services thanks to the internet that would allow us to let our creativity flow and not just have one person hear it, but have like the whole world hear it if they want to. That's what I'm impressed by.
No, and that's what like with the showbiz scene. I mean, I just started that out of a shed essentially, and of course you create the facade that it's bigger than it is, and that gets people more interested. But so you could do that. I mean, people can do that anywhere. Anybody who's interested in entertainment or tech or gardening or whatever, fetish porn, whatever. I think it's the second time I mentioned porn. I apologize.
No, that's okay. This is internet. It's not, no one censoring here. This is internet.
Yeah, but whatever you're interested in, you could turn that into something big.
Yeah. So, have you ever thought about doing like, ever becoming like an actor or anything like that, or were you just more?
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried acting, and I don't know what my deal is. I'm kind of too self-conscious, maybe, which is weird for a guy who does comedy and radio and stuff. But I think my forte, maybe not acting, but it's just being spontaneous and doing stuff on the radio or on stage.
Okay.
And, give me a topic, and I can run with it. I have to tell you that I'm kind of fermenting the seeds of a new showbiz type YouTube show, and you can check it out for this company that sponsors it. It's if you go to youtube.com/name.com, NAMEDOTCOM. One of the most recent episodes up there. It's called Trendy.
Okay.
And we'll take a look at that and maybe link to it in this video or whatever. But I don't know. To me, I think it has legs.
Yeah.
But what they're doing, name.com, they do domains and websites. So they want me to tie in domains and products and their websites, and so we're kind of experimenting with it. I don't know, take a look at it and see what you think.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that, because I'm in support. If I can help a brother out, man, I tell you, that's what I like about this. Like I said, social media and stuff, because we can help each other out and help each other succeed. Rather than just one person succeed.
Right, and and 1,600 subscribers. I mean, people would really kill for that. I mean, those people who subscribe, I mean, sometimes they just do it because you asked them and they're doing it, but people are busy these days. They have a lot going on. They have a lot they can choose to see or do, and if they take that extra effort to subscribe to you, I mean, that's a big deal having 1,600.
Yeah, I just wish that I get like over 1,000 views at least. I've only probably had, out of the over 500 videos that I've done, I probably have maybe one or two that got over 1,000 views, and that's just because somebody else who had a lot of subscribers put it on their channel and helped me grow that video. But that's all that I ever. I don't know. The thing about it's like originally, and this is still fun to me. I mean, it's fun first. It always has been. I just think I get a little frustrated, and maybe this is just an ego problem. But like when I see like have you ever heard the YouTube group called the Shaytards at all?
Yes, yeah.
And I see somebody like that, and I'm a fan of theirs. I watch their videos, the daily vlogs and everything. I love it. But I get a little pissed off because it's like I could see myself doing exactly what Shay Carl's doing and being just as good at it, which I think I am. But yet, I'm not meeting those celebrities. I mean, I am like on the phone or whatever, but like I'm not going to like getting invited to be a part of movies or getting sponsors here, sponsors there. I'm not a professional YouTuber like he is. Although I've done pretty much the same thing he's done, but you know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of frustrating because I've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm making jack squat. While he's like the big, almost 1 million subscribers and everything because he works for YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't watched Hit That in a while, just for time's sake, really. But when I did see the Shaytards, I was impressed. And I think the one thing that they have going, they're funny, but even bigger than that is it's a storyline and characters that people get attached to,
sure.
And they want to see. You just get pulled in, and I think right now inadvertently you're doing that because you're telling your story of your frustration. And that's almost something that people would almost want to come back, like, has he grown? And, are more people interested? Is he still pissed off in his parents' basement in Minnesota? We want to know more. What happened to the dog? I mean, you can start, in radio, when I would go on the air and just try to be funny, just like kind of like stupid one-liner funny, it would never really resonate. But when I would start to tell stories, and I'm not talking about like rural lives sitting around a campfire with Dolly Parton taking an hour and a half and playing banjos and stuff. But I'm just talking about like just introducing little quirks about yourself or little parts of your life. It was amazing. Like people really got into it. They wanted to come back and know more. There's some kind of emotional attachment. I mean, I'm getting all lectury on you here, but
no, that's okay. I need this.
Well, yeah. So when you can't get angry when you see somebody successful like that. You have to look at it and say, so what are they doing that I'm not doing, or what do I need to be doing?
Uh-huh.
And I haven't seen the Shaytards in a while, but that's something I really, especially when you have kids and stuff. The kids are growing and changing, and then of course you have a huge audience that relates to them. People with young kids that come back and see and relish the experience of someone sharing the same experience.
No, I understand. I mean, and I've known that for a long time. I just wish that because I'm 29 years old. He started doing the daily vlogs when he was 29, and now he's already 32. Yeah. And I think have the big fan base, but I think what does it for him though, what I think anyway, is just the fact that he was able to work for YouTube and actually be able to move to California without a problem. From what he was working at a radio station when he first started doing YouTube and wasn't making that much money, but he was able to somehow he wanted to do something that was something that he never thought he'd ever be able to do. Like with me, it's like a lot of the jobs that I've had, like work jobs that actually paid me, they were fun and stuff, but like even at the hotel or when I used to work at the casino or even when I was at the radio station itself doing volunteer work, I just, my story is that I would like that to progress to something bigger sooner than later, you know.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. But whatever. Anyway, we're talking with Jared Iwi, and he former host of the Showbiz scene. And okay, so you said you do some comedy. So what is the funniest joke that you've told that you can remember?
Oh man, like when I first started out, I had a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
I remember one of my first ones I was really proud of was, what was it? Oh, there was this guy that he killed his family, and he pled insanity, so he didn't get the electric chair. And that was one of my first jokes I was so proud of was, if he's insane, just put him in the chair and tell him he's there for a haircut. You know, I just, it was huge. It was like, and so now I still have some jokes, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, for a lot of what I do is just tell stories and then just talk to people. You know, I love being on the Comedy Works here in Denver. Is one of the premier stages in the country, and so when you get up on that stage, everybody's in the right frame of mind. You know, they're
sure.
Even the audience is as daring as the guy on stage. I mean, they're just ready for fun. So it's great. You can go out there and like I just went out there. I was a couple months ago, and everybody's you just start talking to people. I could send you a link to a recent sample, but I just did the. I like to pride myself that I can entertain any room at any time, and I just went to a little town of Stratton, Colorado, and did an hour for their American Legion Christmas party.
Huh.
And when I got there was no stage, there was no microphone. I just had to kind of walk around the tables like a desperate lounge singer, you know, in Laughlin, Nevada, you know, and it worked. You know, I think it worked. Nobody left, but then again, they may have been told they just couldn't get up. But I just walked around and you know traded barbs with people, and then people bring up something, and that topic, I'll have something in my head. You know, they'll bring up. You know,
so you'll improvise mostly.
I do a lot of improvising, but it's kind of fake improvise. I mean, a lot of it's improvised, but to be a real healthy stand-up comic, you have to have quite a cache of stories and related jokes. You know, so if somebody brings up politics, I can go into that for a little bit. Or if somebody brings up having kids, I have some stories that go into that. Or if somebody just brings up sex in general, I'm ready to go. You know.
So, no, that's cool. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Who inspired you? Like when I interviewed Dante the Community, and I just released his interview here yesterday. When I interviewed him, I asked him, you know, what was his inspirations for comedy? Like, who inspired him? So, who inspired you?
Man, I don't know. A lot of comics. I've never really cling to one, but I do see so many. Like, I mean, I tell you, YouTube is depressing because you go on there and there's so many funny comics. And, you know, I as a kid, Robin Williams was huge. I got a chance. I worked with Bob Newhart about 10 years ago, and that really helped my career. And he was fantastic. He was great on stage. Here's a guy who's probably 80 years old. He did a whole hour of stand-up on stage. Well, most people at his age are, you know, sitting down in the hover chair or whatever.
Oh, they're in the nursing home.
Yeah, right. And he was he had a lot of guidance for me. I loved David Letterman and Craig Ferguson. Those guys really inspire me. I love that Craig Ferguson, who does the Late Late Show, he comes out there. I think that he's lost a little luster. It almost seems like he's too scripted now. But when he first got, and after did the Drew Carey Show, he'd go out and do that Late Show, and it was just fly. He was flying, you know, and you could tell he was experienced and he had the material to keep him funny on stage. But he was also comfortable and brave enough that he could just go out there and just go, which is really the rule. Like, you just got to go out there and just go. And like Bob Newhart told me, it's all about bravado. You know, you just got to fake it. You got to fake like you're confident. And when on the inside, your heart's about to collapse, and you're hoping a meteorite hits the stage so you don't have to go through with the show.
Wow, that's good advice. And it's hard to believe that Mr. Wick, the character he played on Drew Carey Show, would actually be hosting a late night talk show. I never thought that ever happened.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. I think it just goes to show you too what the people that are successful, the things they've done, what their resumes are to get where they had to go. You know, he played this kind of straight man character. He wrote a couple movies. You know, they were kind of cute romantic comedies, and And the whole time, his goal was he was a comedian.
Yeah.
And and I think it's good for a couple beginners like ourselves because I shouldn't say we're beginners, but a couple guys like ourselves looking for bigger successes because you could see and like, oh hey, that Frankie Slauson, did you know he worked at a casino? Wow, no kidding. I mean, because everybody is human and everybody has to go through these different machinations to find who they are.
Oh yeah. Well, I tell you what, I appreciate you letting me do this interview with you.
Yeah.
And then for anybody, so your YouTube channel, you want to say it again, and any other website you have that people want to check out?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have my website, which is just ewy.co. It's just or it's ewy.co, or there's a longer, more memorable one, which is shamelesslypimpingmyself.com.
Okay.
And then I wanted you to check out this kind of showbiz scene thing I'm doing. It's a little different, but it's a video, and that's for this company, name.com, and their YouTube channel is youtube.com/name.com, all spelled out, NAMEDOTCOM.
Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate this, and this is Jared Iwi. I almost said Uwe again. Iwi.
That's right.
And one last question, I guess, since we're getting to New Year's, any plans for New Year's at all?
Yeah, I kind of want to. I'm kind of doing a lot of corporate stuff right now as far as my employment goes, and that's kind of new and different for me. I have actually enjoyed it. I was afraid there'd be just a crap ton of douchebags, but I'm really pleasantly surprised that most people are fun and creative and hardworking, and they are completely aware of the ass hattery that is known in the corporate America is known for, and they avoid it at all costs, which is great. But so I'm going to do this for a little bit, and what I'd love to do is I'm actually finishing up my master's too. I got to write my freaking thesis.
Oh wow!
Which is going to kill me.
Well,
Yeah,
you're a talented guy. You can do it.
I know. I don't know. We'll see. So I haven't started it yet, but it's due January 20th. So I'll hopefully get that done. And once I get that done and I do some more work here, I want to try to do more comedy in the summer, maybe a little tour in the summer. And my biggest passion is writing. I want to start getting some stuff out there and published. And I've been blogging forever, for about 7 years now, and which in the blogosphere is forever. And that's my shamelesslypimpingmyself.com. So I want to keep writing and keep growing that, do some more comedy, and maybe at some point I'd love to have a book out there where I can tour on the book by doing comedy and telling some of the stories that are in the book.
Oh yeah, I think people would love to hear your story. I mean, they got to know you a little bit by this little half-an-hour interview, but I think a book on the stuff that you've been able to do, and I mean, it's not like life's over yet. I mean, you're like what you said, we're not rookies, but we're just we're trying to be successful. But you've gained some success by doing this, I'll say, because I don't know how many people actually got to hear what you did on the showbiz scene, but it seemed like it was a popular series. So. Yeah, I mean...
No, it was. I learned a lot from it. So now it's to figure out what the next step is.
Oh, sure. All right. Yeah. Well, this is Frankie Slauson, and thank you again there, Jared, for taking the time to chat with us here on the Frankie Slauson Show. And, hopefully you can let some of your subscribers or friends know when we air this live, or not live, but when I make it live on YouTube, I'll send you the link, and then you can maybe share it around.
I certainly will.
All right. Thank you very much, Jared. You have a good day.
All right, take care.
And that was Jared Iwi from Colorado, and I hope you guys enjoyed this interview as I did. And the next guest that we'll have, as far as rock and roll photographer,
who I've chatted with before when I was on the radio back in 2006, or in 2005, 2006, but it's been over 6 years since I've chatted with him. His name is Michael Strider, and he is a rock and roll photographer, and you'll find out what that means and when we do the interview, the next interview that I do. So, anyway, Frank Slauson.